everyone. Today we have a very special guest with us, Dr. V.K. Dadwal. Sir, welcome to SATSHO Conversation and thank you so much for your time. Sir, tell us our audience about your journey with all the institutes you have been part with.
So, hello Nidhi. I completed my PhD in 1983 from Indian Agriculture Research Institute, and then I joined Space Application Center, Ahmedabad, SAC ISRO, and there I was for about 21 years working on remote sensing applications, crop forecasting, agriculture, irrigation. Then 2004, I moved to Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, Dehradun. I was its dean, and then concurrently I also held the position of acting director for UN Center for Space Science and Technology Education in Asia Pacific. So that from a smaller set of application, I became engaged in the entire training and all fields of Earth observation and application, including international training. Then 2010, I shifted to National Remote Sensing Center, Hyderabad, first year as its associate director, and then 2011 to 2016 as director analysis. So then it means I moved from pure research, agriculture, crop monitoring, modeling, to a training in entire field of remote sensing, then to operational services. So NRSC concentrated on acquiring data, selling data, and doing applications all across. And during the period I was there, what we did was the INGEOS, the grounds integrated multi-mission ground station got established. We also established a ground station in Antarctica. Then I also strengthened Bhuvan. So it not only gave the satellite images, it also started giving products and services of various things. Then I was also the program director for National Information System for Climate and Environmental Services. Through Bhuvan we provided. NRSC also created a national database for emergency management for the NDMA and Ministry of Home Affairs. That was at 1:10,000.
Oh.
So yeah, so it was very intense period. So parallelly during this period, I was also the either delegate or the leader of the Indian delegation to UN Committee on Peaceful Uses of Outer Space. So 4 years I used to go to Vienna, participate on behalf of India. And 2016 I was also the chairman of the scientific subcommittee of the UN COPUOS. So 2016 I shifted to Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology Education. So in the sense, from operations I went to education. There also I think a lot of things were done till 21, which included setting up of a small spacecraft and sensor system and various applications of the space technology, including creating a nascent interest of the IIST faculty and students into the human spaceflight program, including having a Drosophila experiment. And during this period, the IIST flew its first hardware in space.
Yeah.
It went as a small sensor for measuring electrons. So pretty long period.
Yeah.
38 years.
38 years, sir. It's like very, very, very impressive and very robust portfolio sir has. And sir, I would like you to highlight about your students and evolution of the IIST. Also, like how do you see the growth there?
So IIST has a bunch of very, very, I would say, smart students, very intelligent students, and who now have come to understand the space and the direction. So SATSHO is one example.
Yeah.
SATSHO has, I think, maybe almost a dozen, or
Yeah.
exact number I don't have, but I can name substantial number of them, whether Pradeep or Rashmit or Akash or Arpan, couple of more. I think Sarvesh is also there. So lot of Bharat.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that is one part. And these people, all these put together and their understanding, they actually have changed the landscape of how Earth observations are provided from a business for making money. So the earlier era, the Earth observation companies have tried to take government project and just deliver a project.
Correct.
Now they have converted into products, and they have a different mode of delivery, and then financial institutions pay for it.
Yeah.
And then the company, I think now is almost like multinational and 200 staff.
Yeah.
So it's doing very well, I would say.
Yeah. So sir, like as you said, like earlier it was only about hardwares, and space tech means about satellites and all. The real business or commercialization or the impact, how we can drive is through the solutions we offer. So how do you see the landscape has been evolved now, like from 10 years? Because earlier it was only meant for defense areas or national security, only government led, but now it's more accessible and more usable.
Yeah, so three things have changed. One, the offering of Earth observation, which were like either moderate remote sensing or very high resolution. So the two are getting merged, and the number of sensors in space has increased. The size of the open data or the total portfolio is also larger. Second thing, what has happened, the IT base, both IT and communication, on which it runs, has expanded.
Yeah.
In earlier era, whether it is the network, computers, or whatever, they were not scaled up to do such type. Third thing, what has happened is that instead of doing a project for a government or a specific thing which is like a one time, the Earth observation are able to give solutions to repeatable, updated problems which can be taken again and again. Like suppose earlier you would do for master planning, but now you can, within the city, you can have applications which are for encroachment monitoring, or if you have the, let us say, infrastructure, it was used more for either having the where to lay the infrastructure or the best route planning or something. Now you are into operations of how we can protect the power infrastructure, right? So the level of EO plus other observations combined has moved to a stage where it can be used by various functions. Another thing what has happened, the earlier satellite resolutions were so, and ground truth, you could do a couple of things. Now it is a more complete solution. You have drones, you have lidars, you have various other sensors, and you have mobiles. So what you can do is you can mix them in a way to deliver very useful applications, right? Plus the positioning service has got embedded. Earlier the location accuracies were also an issue. Now with GPS and the augmentation, your positioning also has become, so you can give very local specific things. So a lot of experience now has flown into this entire ecosystem.
So how do you see the geospatial analytics from India at a global stage? Like how far we have come, and what next to look forward
for? So we are doing very, very well. I mean, the geospatial, even before we had so much Indian data, many Indian companies were providing services for foreign clients. Though we didn't have our own satellite of that type, but still they were processing data for other countries. Now, what the current group including SatSure, does is they use this global mixture of whatever satellite offerings are there and create a product which is customizable, and then it has, it will find some echo in many other places where conditions are similar to us. So then trying to be a subcontractor to a party, we are moving into sort of not only having solution, they can be tailored to various geographies and slightly different manifestations. So whether it is in agriculture, infrastructure, I think forest, a lot of such things have, and I would say agriculture also has very large domain, but governments still do more for disaster management.
Yeah.
But the other ones are there where their money is by the other commercial entities. So there I think private people will have more and more opportunities, and we seem to be doing quite well. The current emphasis on doing things on cloud, we anyway are very good in IT, and the use of AI ML is also growing very fast. So I think there will be next level of applications which Indian companies will be able to do. But AI ML depends upon localized learning. So we should have access to own data sets, which I think we'll be able to do. That is what we are looking at.
So looking at the trajectory now, how we are following, the landscape has changed, everything's changed. We see a lot of accessibility towards space tech, and more of the commercialized use also, and we see a lot of startup mushrooming into. And again, being startup as a founder, early founder, we have to focus into research and development, continuous improvement, innovation, and also parallelly the client delivery. So do you think there's a strong need of gap which we need to address between academia and research and startups like us, which can co-create and collaborate and build solutions?
So basically, academia starts from some background training, and they learn geospatial and some thematic application. But the useful part is academia have a time to assimilate a specific area, not only learn their skill, but also be able to act as a workforce with an independent set of mind. So the companies must collaborate with academia. That is and finally, if the companies work with academia, they are able to bring in that type of skill during their internship, which they can directly come to the company and start delivering. Otherwise, if you get people from academia who have not been exposed to current trends, there will be a gap in their skill set, and a lot of energy will be spent in reskilling them.
Correct.
So this is one part, and secondly, the diversity and the type of colleges offering geospatial courses has grown up very large. Compared to about a dozen, some 2-3 decades ago, now it is above 100. So the total mass of student is also very large. So you can use it to choose the best. And then I think other than this advantage, we also have an advantage that we are able to go out and relate our condition to other nations. That way, I think we know diversity, we live with it. So it's not that we are exposed to only one set of conditions. Because India itself is so diverse. You get my point? From Himalayas to coast, that if you have done something, you will have similarities at many areas.
Yeah, so you can scale globally.
Yes, so you can do globally.
Yeah.
That is another.
So, sir, I mean, how do you see now, like you have been part of SatSure, you're like esteemed advisor for us, you've seen our journey. Any thoughts on it, like how SatSure has come all through and what next we can look forward for?
So SatSure has done exceedingly well. I don't see any other company which is coming, to that. And what I understand, and of course I know also, that this backward integration to building satellite
Yeah.
and having captive satellite to deliver more value to your customer is already part of the plan. So a whole system approach from the sensor to data to a platform which allows you to do analytics, and a set of uh, customers who are regularly on lookout for your analytics and solution. So you actually have created in one or two discipline. So the challenge is how to make it in a very large number of.
Yeah.
So suppose now the number of domain is 4 or 5. So when does it become 40 or 50? Since the data is same, the cost for each geography then goes down.
Correct.
So I think it will happen. The always the difference between potential and what actually is really done on ground is very difference quite large. So it means it's not a saturated market.
Yeah.
So there is a room to grow.
Room to grow.
Not only for Satcher, for other people.
So like you have been part of a lot of other as advisory, and you have seen generations after generations and batch after batch. Like what difference do you see the current generation who are shaping the ecosystem right now?
So one part is clear. The nation is putting emphasis on innovation, startup, and this ecosystem.
Yeah.
Two, the students are better skilled in IT and those type of skills, including, I would say, communication, which allows them to act in a market. So now, I would say, compared to students who had limited exposure, very little opportunity, the current group is more ready and also has access to such new type of opportunities. So they should be doing even much better. And the Earth observation and many things, they also work on a cumulative curve.
Yeah.
So if you already have accumulated so much, then you can rework and create new
Build upon
analytics upon that.
Yeah.
So that way earlier was not there.
Correct.
So I would say the conditions are very right, and Earth observation has got linked both to positioning, navigation, also got linked to the ICT communication because of this 5G, cloud, and
Yeah.
so many. So when you bring in positioning, communication, cloud, and data access, and new models of AI ML, then the whole thing becomes much more capable than it was a decade ago or 2 decades.
Okay.
When we started, resolutions were 80 meters.
Oh. Okay.
So, I mean, that era is not comparable.
Correct. But it has been coming long way. I mean,
Yeah,
pretty
yes.
long.
I mean, at that time, 1983, we couldn't have visualized
Yeah.
that we will be sitting and discussing these type of.
Yeah. And also it is the kind of evolution, like it sounds very unbelievable, like
Yes.
from where we have come, but it is true, and we are driving impact.
So this actually also brings in a fact that now we can't be too certain of the future. It can explode, and really we can go
Yeah.
places which we are not even thinking.
Thought of.
So we are only looking for some people with bright ideas
Yeah.
who will further transform. So long-term prediction is a very dangerous, because we limit it to our understanding,
Correct.
which I think is not perhaps.
So earlier it was like getting into space tech, satellite. It was little far-fetched dream, or people don't dare to dream. But now it's more of like achievable things, and people do write in their wish list, I want to become an astronaut, because it's doable. How do you see we can nurture that, and what is your message to the aspirants who would like to drive change in ecosystem?
So, lot of things have happened. One, earlier satellite was a very costly business. Now with CubeSats,
Yeah.
college students can build CubeSat.
Yeah.
So earlier, the people going in space were mostly Air Force and couple of countries.
Correct.
But now with private players, etc., it's a more open market. It means people with right set of mind and training can move into it. Third, what is happening? Uh, the Indian economy or Indian industry and geospatial also is coming more of age.
Yeah.
So we are not that much deprived of resources or ability to raise funds
Yeah.
as it would have been 20, 30 years ago. So I would say there are a couple of all positive directions. So it is up to the dreams of these young people and our, holding hand with the people, telling them which is the area which is faster, smoother, or which can be done, or for which they can slightly delay when the time comes. So, with some type of mentoring, it may be possible to really scale much, higher positions than currently we.
Do you see there will be a time where EO data or EO data economics or EO data value would be like a currency?
So, see, EO data is actually like climate satellite is a public good data.
Yeah.
Anyway, there are many constellations like Sentinel which give data free. The idea is if you have data free, the use of data, there is no barrier and it strengthens the economy, provides innovation, also drives job and market. It is much more advantageous than to try to, get money from the data itself and kill the entire.
Oh yeah, agree.
So there is a report which was done in the case of Sentinel. That report was titled uh, "The Hen Which Lays Golden Eggs." So
Yeah, interesting.
So it's more than 15-year-old report. So what they are trying to convey is, I mean, don't kill the hen, let it lay golden eggs, then you benefit from it. That actually is this.
Thank you so much, sir. And sir, how was your experience in Karman Week today?
Morning we had a session with Karman Fellows and very wide-ranging discussion and brought in lot of perspective from various countries and from different backgrounds. And I'm sure as they spend next 5 days in India, there will be very, very interesting. So we should also compliment Satcher for creating this event in India and letting the others feel this vibrancy of the Indian sector. And thank you, Nidhi,
Thank you so
for
much.
asking me.
Thank you. Thanks.